Hey, thanks for listening to this podcast episode. I really, really appreciate anyone who listens. I'd love for you to share it, like it, whatever you can do if you do like it. And really, the whole goal of this podcast is to help as many people who are trying to get into the business or grow their business as possible. I hope you will enjoy this podcast. Hello and welcome to the Finding Discounted Property Podcast. My name is Michael Pinter, where I bring you the greatest and brightest investors from across the country. Today, I have the pleasure of having Brandon Cobb from HBG Capital. Thank you very much for coming, Brandon.
Hey, man, the pleasure's all mine. Thanks for having me on the show.
Brandon, why don't you talk a little bit about how you got started, when you got started? I know you do something unique, and I want to talk to you more about it. And I had some recent experience with what you do, but why don't you talk about how you got started in it?
Yeah, so I'm what you call an accidental entrepreneur. I never had these big dreams or worked a corporate job for 20 years where I hated my life and had these aspirations. I actually was living my dream job, which was medical device sales. That's what I wanted to do ever since I was a kid. That was what I dreamed of doing. The idea of being in scrubs every single day, rubbing shoulders with orthopedic surgeons, training hospital staff on a product that I actually believed in and enjoyed selling. That that was the dream. And everything was going fine until one sunny Friday afternoon. I get a call from my boss, said, meet me over at Starbucks. It was Friday at 5 p.m. I had a fantastic day in sales. And before I could get the words out about how excited I was about my day and how much money I'd made him, he fires me. And after several hours of the shock wearing off from that, and Mike, all the stuff was going through my head. Why me? What did I do? Like I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into this. And anybody who has like a dream career or a career to begin with that gets fired unexpectedly knows it's not just about the job. I'd attached my identity to that role for so long that I was like
how,
losing my sense of identity. And
how
so
long
it
had you
was
how
pretty.
long had you been there for? How long were you there for?
I was there at that company for 2 years.
But you had
Yeah.
been in
So,
that industry for how long?
well, 2 years. That was actually my first job that I'd
Oh.
got. So, like, my boss was like a mentor to me. Like, he was almost like a father figure. I was like, dude, he's the guy that gave me my shot. It took me 2, 3 years to break into medical device sales. So it was a very tough journey. And to have it just disappear, it was a little bit rough. So, all this to say, that's how I got started. And I started a life coaching business, thinking, I'll be the next Tony Robbins. Mike, you're not going to believe this, but not many people want to take life advice from a 26-year-old, believe it or not. So that business failed. I was like, well, maybe I'll create this course on how to break into medical device sales. That flopped too. Had an online blog. And then I discovered this magic little vehicle, as I'm sure you probably did too, called real estate. And I literally, first real estate deal, I sold all my retirement accounts, all my Ross, everything. Don't do that, by the way, if you're listening. Don't do that. Everything to buy that first property. I flipped it. I made $30,000 and I was hooked. And since then, it's been a really fun journey. Today we take land and we invent new housing neighborhoods. So we put the land in a contract, we get it approved, and we sell it to like Lennar, D.R. Horton, who go and build a couple hundred homes on it. Um, a lot's happening in the midst of those, but that's what we're up to today, and that's how I got started.
Amazing stuff. So how long was it between when you got fired from your medical device job until when you started doing the land?
Oh God, it was years. So we built up a house flipping and wholesaling business. We're doing about 40, 50 properties a year. Did that for a couple years. And then we started building houses. We had this fire damage property where we're like, we can buy it for less than what the land is worth. Like, why don't we just cut out all the black crispy stuff and reframe and build? Because we'd gotten used to doing these full gut renovations. And we made 3 times as much money on that. I call it a new build, but the foundation and some of the framing was still there as we did flipping and wholesaling houses. And that was where the light bulb moment went off. We said, gosh, why are we flipping homes? Let's build houses. And so I got my GC license. We started building, did that for a couple of years. And then we had the need. We're like, gosh, we're building, 30 houses spread out all over the place. Why not just build them all on the same piece of land? And so that's when we started doing that. And we get knocks on the doors from all these publicly traded companies, Lennar, D.R. Horton, all those kind of guys wanting to buy our land. And at first, They're like, hey, we really like your land. Like, we want to buy it. And we're like, get out of here, get lost. It's not for sale. We're building houses. And they said, well, what if we offered you this for it? And my partner and I looked at each other. We looked at their
That
offer, and
sounds
we're
good.
like, yeah, yeah, we'll do it. And do you want the one across the street? We'll sell you this one and that one. And we just kept feeding them land. So it was probably, gosh, 4 or 5 years after when I first got started that we actually got into land.
Now you're in Nashville area,
Mhm.
and that's where you operate around Nashville. Most of the land that you're buying is in Tennessee.
Yeah, most of the stuff we see, feel, and touch is in Tennessee. We've done some stuff in some other markets with the right partners as well, though.
Okay, so let's talk about how you find these deals. Like, how do you find these tracts of land that you can sell to the big builders for good profits? How do you go about that?
Yeah, great question. And there's no, well, I guess there's a little bit of a secret Krabby Patty kind of formula here once you know what you're looking for. But this is one of those businesses where there's no piece of software where you can go in and click a couple buttons and poof, out pops a magic list that is ripe land suited for development, because a lot of times you're rezoning the land to higher density. That's where you force appreciate and create the value. You need to have sewer access most of the time. I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time you can't find that on a software program. So what we do is we first figure out where our buyers want to be. Very simple. We work with national home builders. We just go and map out the areas that they have communities being built. It's very simple to find those. It's not hard. And what I'm looking for, yeah, once I find those neighborhoods and the areas that they're building, I span out. And if anybody has ever looked at a parcel map before, it's like a giant puzzle piece. All the little bitty parcels are fitting together, and I'm looking for these giant puzzle pieces that are next to all these small puzzle pieces. So the small puzzle pieces being a development that's got density and homes, and I'm looking for all the parcels that kind of connect or are around those smaller parcels. It's literally that simple. We hand build our lists. So, we don't use software programs. You can use software programs, but you're going to have to dig through a lot of dirt to find the gold through that. Like, you can sort by certain acreage. We want it to be at least 20 acres and stuff like that. There's ways of kind of narrowing it down. But if you use a software program, you're going to have to dig through a lot of dirt in order to find the gold. We just go straight for the gold. We can build our lists, and we literally direct outreach to the homeowners.
Okay, let me just take one step back, and I forgot to ask you this, but during the few years where you were just flipping houses, what were you doing to find deals then?
So what we would do is I was sending about, at the peak of our business, we were sending probably 30,000 mailers per month. I was pulling absentee lists, so owners that were they did not reside in the property. They'd owned it for at least I think 10 years. I was pulling eviction lists. So these were detainer warrants. They're called detainer warrants, where they got to kick the tenants out of the property. I was going and pulling the tax delinquent list from the city, and I'm trying to think, there might have been one or two more lists in there. We would also cross pollinate those lists. And if properties showed up on multiple lists, then we would spend a little bit more money and effort to go after them. But we did mail, we've done PPC, pay per click targeting. We were spending quite a bit of money on marketing.
Hey, just a quick interruption in the podcast. Just wanted to tell you that not only am I here to help you if you have a deal that you want to show me, and my phone number is 516-209-2010, or you can email me at mpinter@lmpkrealty.com. But also, I do offer some products. I offer a course that's around $1,000. It's a self-learning course where I really show you everything I do. And I do offer coaching. That's a lot more expensive, but I do a one-on-one. If you're interested in those things, contact me. Reach out to me at 516-209-2010 is probably the best way. Okay. All right. Back to what you're doing now. So these builders are building single family houses, or are they building like big buildings with like rental buildings on them? What are they building? Are they building mostly what do they build on them? Or does it not matter?
Yeah. Our primary customer are national home builders, but we've done mixed use development, sold off the commercial parcels, industrial stuff like that before. It's the same process that you do, whether it's a single family home, commercial, or industrial building. Like the approval process is the same. The hoops you got to jump through are pretty similar.
But most of the time, they're building a bunch of single family homes. Is that
Tons
just
of single homes. Yeah. We work with like Lennar, D.R, Horton, those
sure?
kind of
Those are some of
guys.
the biggest builders in the country. So, is there a minimum size tract of land that they are going to look at, or if it's smaller than that, it's just not worth their time?
Yeah, great question. So there's a little niche that we've kind of carved out here. So, they don't want anything usually less than 50 units. And sometimes that's too small. It needs to be bigger if it's an area they're going to go and set up shop. So the question's not how many acres, it's how many units, because the zoning determines how many homes you can get on the piece of land. I've had 5 acre tracts where I've gotten almost 80 homes, townhomes out of. That's about the max. I've had I've got a 36 luxury home development that's roughly 36 acres for I think it's 40 acres, but we're only putting 36 homes on it. They're luxury homes. That'll be a Toll Brothers type of property. So it's more or less how many units you can get on it. And you figure out how many units you can get on it by seeing what they're approving in the area. You just go and measure
Okay.
the dimensions of the lots. And we have a formula that people can follow on our website if they want to go to that and check it out on how to see if the land is actually going to pencil for development.
And what are these tracts of land usually zoned for when you're looking to buy them? Like, what are they just zoned like farmland? Like, what are they?
Yeah, farmland. It could be residential. Some of them are already zoned for it, and we don't have to do any rezoning. We're just taking it through the approval process. Some of them are, simple subdivides. We've done some smaller deals too, where we just subdivide it off. Typically, our minimum threshold to do a deal is $500,000. If we're not going to make $500,000, preferably 7 figures, like the $500,000 are usually subdivides. Like we don't have to go rezone it, do a lot of work, subdivide it, and sell it. But if we're having to rezone it, take it through, 7 figures is the minimum, and that process usually takes 15 months or less.
That's what I wanted to ask. So on something that takes 15 months around that or over a year, that's a situation where you're usually getting something that's not zoned residential. You're getting it rezoned residential, and then you're figuring out how to subdivide this into different tracks. You're saying, I think we can get 100 units here based on what. So let's say it's 100. It's a half acre minimum, and it's 50 acres. So it's 100, yeah, so it's 100 zones, and you're actually coming to the municipality and saying, "This is how we want them laid out." Is that what you're doing?
Uh, So we have a little bit different method. And if people want to learn more about it, then go to learnlanddevelopment.com. There's a free course where I go over this. But the first thing we do is we go sit down with the planning director and council staff before we ever have a deal. We put a name with a face. We ask simple questions that show that we genuinely care. Like, hey, what are some things developers have done to create a win-win in this community? Hey, Mr. Councilperson, what is blowing your phone up? What are people calling you complaining about? How can I be a win-win for you there? Stuff like that. And we listen to what they want versus what they don't want. Here in Wilson County, they hate townhomes. I'm not going to bring them a townhome project, right? So stuff like that. We go find it. We create the concept plan. We bring it to the city and we say, "Hey, remember me? Hey, I listened to you. This is what you said you wanted, right? Is this good? Is this something that you want?" They say yes. We go, "Great." Take that concept plan to my builders who I should have already met, right? You meet with the builder sales reps, and the builder sales reps are on your team. They work for the company. Wall Street's money. These are publicly traded builders. They have to buy. They have to build or
They
they
have to
don't
build,
grow
or they're not growing. They're not
or
using
their
their capital.
stock doesn't go up. They have to. That's why I love it. And they got unlimited money and they can give it to me. Right? Perfect scenario. If that builder says, "Yes, I want it," and gives me a good offer, and I like the spread between what did I got under contract for and the builder's price, that tells me I'm ready to move forward.
Okay. Now, besides your price that you're paying the seller for the land, what other? I'm sure you have other soft costs that's involved in this up to 15-month process, right? You're paying for surveys and architects and probably a bunch of other consultants. So like I assume you got to put some money into these things just to get them ready to
Oh
go.
yeah, there's definitely some money, but here's like a little secret not a lot of people know about. You want to negotiate the terms that you want with the seller because during your due diligence period, you're going to go and you're going to do the process that I just laid out, and you're going to get a builder lined up. And as long as that builder thinks there's enough time to get it approved and they want it, that builder will help pay for those soft costs. Now,
Wow.
not a lot of people know that, but they're doing it anyway, right? These builders have their own sales reps that are going direct to landowners and sourcing land, and they're doing the same thing. The key and the big risk to avoid here, I've done this. I don't want to do it. I've got the battle scars. Do not buy any land until you have the approvals because you never know what the city's going to come back with or what you're going to find during your due diligence period. Just don't do it. So you tell the seller, hey, I'm going to put your land in a contract. And by the way, they're fine waiting the 15 months because I'm giving them way more than their property's worth. That's what I love about this business. I'm not lowballing grandmas that don't know what their home or whatever's worth. I am creating value, a lot of value in the land, and I'm giving them a premium to wait that out with me. And I explain that to the homeowners. I tell them exactly what I'm going to do. Hey, you see Ryan Homes down the street? Like, I'm going to get the land approved and I'm going to sell it to them. They don't want to do the work to do all that. Like, I'm happy to do it. And so
Right.
we're very transparent about the whole process and how it works. But yes, you can spend tons of money if you want, taking it through, doing the civil drawings, all that. I prefer to get the builder to pay for it. But there's situations where we do that. You've got traffic studies the city might want to make sure it's safe. You're going to want to do a phase one environmental report, make sure there's no toxic sludge. You're going to want a geotech report. You're going to want to make sure the soils are good to build on. Stuff like that is part of the DD period.
Interesting. And so like I assume a lot of these areas do not have utilities. They don't have sewer, they don't have electricity going to them. That's something that the builder is going to extend and bring to these areas?
It depends on the price of the property. If the numbers work and it pencils, yeah, like there's communities where they'll bring everything. There was a local builder here called Old South. They just finished a development that they bought in 1980.
Oh my
They
god.
built 3,500 homes there over the course of what is that, 45 years or something like that.
Yeah.
They put in a water tower. They I mean, literally built a flipping town, over 4 decades, right? So there's no limit to what they can or can't do if the numbers work.
Right. So it's all based on the price. So if they need to build all the infrastructure, then they're just going to pay less for the land. And if their infrastructure is close or there, then they can pay more for the land. It's probably different on every piece of land.
Yeah, most of the time they're tapping into an existing sewer or water, but if they have to run the sewer and water down the road from another development and the costs justify it, yeah, that's fine. And I say sewer because sewer is what allows the density. This is where you can get these 5, 6, 7, 8,000 square foot lots where you can create a lot of density. There are areas like Murfreesboro, Tennessee is a great example. Hot, hot area. Tons of development with no sewer. They're all septic, but the lots are bigger, and the lots are bigger because you need a septic system. The septic system, field lines have to go throughout that. They need more room, right? And so you don't necessarily have to have sewer. If it's in an area where you see homes are selling with septic systems, then and the builders are building those, then that's fine too. But you won't get the density out of it.
I see. So they'll all right, I got it now. So they'll let you build with there's no sewer, but they'll just let you build fewer homes. What about water lines and things like that? If like just getting the water, does that matter? Does that affect everything if there's water to tap into, or some places have wells and some places aren't municipal?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to get like a community well usually, but yeah, water is much more prevalent than sewer. So a lot of times you'll have water out there in like the county areas. Water lines a little bit more easier to run, and it's just more available than a sewer line. So like a lot of homes in the county have septic systems, and they have water. They don't have sewer, but they got water, hence the septic. So the water is usually much more available.
So if you see an area that you know sewer's not coming to, you just have to pay less because the density, the amount of houses they can build per space is going to be less because they need to be bigger for septic systems.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, potentially you're not probably going to get quite as many units. Doesn't mean it's a great deal. Like we've done deals like that and
Sure.
got, 80 units out of a piece of land, and you can hit a home run with it. I mean, out of the park. Um, yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I had some nightmare situations going on with me where I took me 2 years to get 3 lots approved in New York City. I'm right near New York City. I'm in Long Island,
Uh,
and I just got them approved, and now my cost to build have gone up. I think I'm selling the land, but I had another property also. So getting things permitted is different everywhere, but you knowing the people that you're dealing with is probably better, and I'm sure it's a lot easier in Tennessee than it is in New York. But I know what you're
mhm.
talking about. Just getting something approved is a big deal. I've subdivided. I bought a lot of properties where I subdivided property on it and then sold it, and just getting it approved. But it's very important, as you said, that you have to, when you go to contract, it has to be subject to certain approvals, right? If you can't get it approved, then you want to get your money back, whatever you've given to the seller. Are the sellers okay? The sellers, you said the sellers are okay with that because you're paying them a fair price for it. You're not trying to screw them over. So usually they'll wait and they'll let it be subject to you getting approved to build on it.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
You've been listening really well.
Well, I'm familiar with it. I mean, it's just, but where I do it, it's just a nightmare. It's like you can't
Yeah.
even imagine how
You're
difficult it is.
you're in a tough spot, man. Like your market, man. New York, California, God bless Father, Son, Holy Spirit. You're not if you're listening to this right now, I would never do any deals in New York or California.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Listen, you're in a state where they want to build, they want to expand. They're trying to get more houses in there and they're trying to be helpful. By us, it's the opposite. They're looking for any reason to deny you. So
Yeah.
it's a different mentality. All right. So if somebody wants to learn more, I mean, you mentioned you have some courses and and a few products to help people. Where do they go? How do they reach you? And what should they be looking at?
Yeah, we got a couple different things. So if we've got a free course and I think the content's better than what you pay to get from a lot of people. We were thinking about charging for it and said, no, we're just going to give it away. But if you go to learnlanddevelopment.com, you can grab it. There's a button below the video. It's called Land Development 101 course. Go grab it. There's 6 hours of content to teach about land development, how to get started, how to vet deals, even how to raise the money for your deals too. So that's a great place. And then for those who are more serious about it, maybe they've done some subdivides, they have what I would call an experienced real estate investor. They've got experience in the industry and they want to jumpstart and they like the idea of having their hand held and being part of a community of other people that are doing these deals and access to resources. We have our land development accelerator mastermind. It's a great fit for people that want to be in this industry. There's not many communities out there like it. And again, if you want to learn more about that, same website, learnlanddevelopment.com. You can click the request invitation button, book a call with me, and we can see if you're a fit.
I'm looking. All right. Any way that if someone wants to just reach out to you, are you on social media? Like, what is there a better way to reach out to you if they want to?
That's the best way because they get right on my calendar. But yeah, I'm on social media. My name's Brandon Cobb, like corn on the cob. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. All the big channels.
But the best way is learnlanddevelopment.com. All right.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Brandon. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. It's amazing stuff. I always thought it was great until I did it in New York, but now I'm rethinking my location, and because I think it's a great thing. So, thank you for everything you've taught me, and I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Mhm. Absolutely, man. And if you come to Tennessee, we'll roll out the red carpet for you.
All right, I'm coming back. Thank you very, very much for listening to the podcast. I hope you got some value out of it. I'm going to be uploading 2 to 3 episodes a week for the foreseeable future. So please subscribe, like, share. And again, if you want to contact me, if you have any questions about anything you heard or anything about the business, really, I'm an open book. Best way to reach me is call me in the office at 516-209-2010. Thank you very much for listening.